So the last time I saw you was at the press conference in Cannes, which was luckily superseded by your winning Palme d'Or.
It's really funny.
Can you
I
describe?
became a YouTube person.
Can you describe what that experience? I mean, had you been to Cannes before?
Yeah, many times.
And
yeah.
like, what were your other Cannes?
Always strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember when we went for Marie Antoinette. This whole like booing thing came out where we were booed, but it was like 4 people at a press screening, and you're gonna do Marie Antoinette in France. Obviously, it's gonna be controversial. You know what I mean? Filmed by an American director. So, but then I remember that becoming that. So that was a little, So I've always had controversial press in Cannes, but I guess that's good too for the film. Maybe. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Thank you. So proper.
Well, that waitressing
Otherwise, we'll do
during grad school comes in handy
ads.
sometimes.
Coca-Cola ads.
So, the very last day, I mean, it must have been very uncomfortable and then very exciting and heady at the very end. I interviewed Lars at the end, and all of the press that were sitting there that day, I mean, we knew him. We know that he performs and that he puts on this kind of show and that he can't help himself. He almost is uncensored. And then when I spoke to him at the end, he said that he was going to be meeting with you. How did that work out, you and Lars, at the end?
I mean, we had dinner. He apologized to me. He was very embarrassed also because it kind of ruined our night. We couldn't obviously have a party or, celebrate together, which was sad, because we all worked hard and everyone on the film really cared about each other. So it would have been fun to, celebrate that. But yeah, couldn't do that.
Now, he has a reputation. I mean, obviously he got an amazing performance out of you, one of the best you've ever given. Can you talk about that process a little bit? What is it that he does that is good and also difficult for actors?
I honestly have to say there wasn't one thing that I had to. He was not difficult with me at all, and I can see maybe he was in a very good place while we filmed Melancholia. But the environment he creates and the chemistry of people he puts together is so right on. It's such a quiet set. Everyone who works for him has worked with him forever. They're mostly women who head most of his departments. So it's a very nurturing environment, and he himself was so vulnerable with me in explaining his time with depression. And so I don't think you could get great performances if you don't feel safe with the director. I couldn't be so vulnerable if I didn't feel like I was taken care of by Lars in a way and trusted him, because I don't want to share if I'm closed off, So to me, he was, he has brilliant ideas. I prepare personally before I even, obviously get to the film set, this script was the longest I've ever worked on a script before I went away to shoot.
Months?
No, not months, but very intensely every day for 2 weeks probably. I worked on it because if you read the script, it seems simple, but his explanations for just the way someone stops and looks up and walks here, and then here's this music, and there's a lot of poetic references in the film that you can really delve into, and so that's all there for you. And it's kind of a mystical kind of film and role for me, because here is this woman like connecting with this otherworldly aspect, and maybe she came from the planet that's coming towards Earth. I had so many wonderful fantasies that I could explore because there isn't that much dialogue.
A lot of it is the face. A lot of it is your reactions.
Yeah.
Now, did you have any experience yourself with depression that you could relate to?
I've talked briefly about it, but I think that personally, I don't think there's a human being that hasn't dealt with feelings of depression. So, but I think scripts come to you at certain times in your life, and I was in a very good place, and I knew how this could be played completely.
And you also have taken a turn in your career away from one set of expectations, and you seem to be heading in another direction. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because your last film, the one you did with Ryan Gosling, I thought you did a great job with.
Thank you.
And it just seems like you're taking a different kind of movie.
You know what's funny about that is like now I'm doing this ridiculous comedy right now.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah,
too.
I'm somebody who doesn't. I'm not like indie intense person. You know, not at all. Like I'll do a big movie, I'll do a small movie. I've always been so. I never want to be boxed into one thing, and I'm a very goofy, fun. I don't see myself as someone who takes herself very seriously. I mean, I take my work seriously, but I'm not. I'm fun to be. I'm not like on set. You know, we're having so much fun on this comedy right now. It's a really good cast, and
tell me the name of it.
It's called. Well, I think they have to change the title, but it's called Bachelorette right now. But it was a play in New York for a little while, and Leslie Headland, who's the writer, who's a theater director and writer, is directing for the first time, and she's really smart, and it's a fun set, and it's really intense. We're tired, but because it's independent, so it's constantly moving, which to me always gets the best performances when you don't sit around for hours waiting, for we do the wide shot, then we do the two shot, then we do the singles, and by the time you're just so stale in that kind of environment. I think that's why I usually migrate to independent films, because there's not the time to do all that.
And you can really, with Lars, what kind of repeating would you do? How many takes would he do?
Well, it's interesting because we would do takes that could last 10 minutes. We'd run the entire wedding. So it almost felt like you were doing a play sometimes, because everyone, even if you didn't have anything to say, everyone was there on the set, and everyone had to be in the moment of what was happening. So that was really exciting too, but not many takes. I don't think, I feel like maybe 6 takes was the most we did. Or we didn't, yeah. It's, when you can't waste time, it moves.
And when you saw his last film, Antichrist, and you were presented with, a film where you have to pee on the grass in your wedding dress and so forth, he said that you got off easy.
But I know. I think I did. I think compared to Charlotte and Antichrist, I definitely did. I mean, she's really brave. Really brave. But also, she can get away with that, whereas a lot of actresses couldn't get away with that. I mean, personally, I could never I couldn't go from Spider-Man to chopping off someone's genitals. You know what I mean? It's like that. I would laugh at myself as an actress if but
there's a splendid nude shot.
Yes, I do. I have a pretty naked shot.
You could, show that to your grandchildren someday.
Right. I keep warning my family. My dad is like, naked, I don't know if you want to see this, but he was very sweet about it. He was like, it's artistic. I helped make you. It's beautiful. It's artistic.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. He had a nice perspective. My brother was like, I'll just close my eyes. It's fine.
So did you have to sort of say, okay, I'm going for whatever you want me to do?
I'm
Mr.
always
Von
like
Trier?
that.
Yeah.
I'm
Or did you
always
balk
gung-ho.
at anything?
I never block. Unless I personally think it's wrong for what I feel like the character would do. But I never am someone who won't try things. Ever. And Lars is someone who I really trusted, so...
Would you work with him again?
Definitely, yeah.
So you're good. You're
Yeah.
good in that way.
I like that he... Yeah, I would definitely... I think we will, for sure. We got along really well.
And have you seen Melancholia now with a big audience outside of Europe? Have you been?
I saw it once in Cannes. It was once, yeah. And then before that, I saw it very rough. So I've only seen it once altogether, but that ending really surprised me because I didn't expect it to be so loud. And I was sitting next to my friend, and I was laughing almost because I was so shocked and uncomfortable about how loud it was. The seats were shaking in the theater when I watched it.
So when you shot that sequence, you had no idea what the visual effects were going to be or anything?
No, and we were sitting, we did the more intimate, close things, and then, they pulled back for the special effects shot at the end, and basically it was just us 3 sitting, and Lars would yell 1, 2, 3, collapse, and we'd all kind of shrink down, and then they added all the rest of it, but yeah.
So are you basically playing him?
Yeah, he writes it. It's his experiences. I mean, I'm portraying what he wrote and his experiences, but I don't feel like I never had Lars come up to me and be like, I would do it like this or anything like that.
But it's an interesting kind of alter ego kind of thing that he creates, and then he has the women
I know.
playing him.
That's really
this other version of it, which I find sort of interesting.
Me too. Yeah, he's probably one of the. I only think of him and Pedro Almodovar that writes these incredible roles for women, and it's funny when people say he's misogynistic. It's like he's the only one writing incredible roles where women can be messy and also every person who works on the movie, pretty much the department heads are all female. So he needs that nurturing. And he has a lovely wife and like great kids, and he's a good father. Like you only get to see this one side from like different kinds of stories. And
But do you have any sense? I mean, there's no reason why you would know this, but if you could guess, I mean, there's a reason why he gets someone like Nicole Kidman or Catherine Deneuve or someone to work for him. But what do you think happened with Bjork? I mean,
I think you get two geniuses. They're collaborating. It's bound